Thanks for being with us here at Mornings at 10, a busy Tuesday, and we're staying on top of that situation unfolding in Tokyo. Take a look at the fireball that erupted when two planes came into contact with each other. A Japan Airlines passenger plane burst into flames as it came in for a landing, hitting a Japanese Coast Guard plane that appears to have been leaving to provide earthquake relief. As you might remember, Japan just dealt with that earthquake about a day ago.
Yeah, so much happening in such a little time. This story's got a lot of questions to it. We just want to bring in Captain Dennis Tajer. I love this guy. Captain, thank you for being with us. So first of all, what the heck happened on that runway?
Well, first off, great to be with you, and I'm saddened it's on this darker news because some folks lost their lives there, as we've heard reports on the Coast Guard flight. The heroes on that airplane, the flight attendants, the impact that likely was felt, and then that aircraft was burning up. And if you'll hear those videos, they are directing passengers to safe exit, and all of those passengers got off. It's a dark day, but there's a miracle wrapped up in this that is difficult to process. But I'll tell you, and we have been fighting on this in the U.S. on ensuring the evacuation, the reality of getting people off the aircraft is tested in a way that can actually be achieved. Now, we see a very modern aircraft, wide exits, and people getting off the aircraft safely, just how important that is. But my gosh, those flight attendants.
And that's a 90-second move, right? Like they're instructed to clear that plane. Tell me the time.
It's seconds, and every second matters. And just think of this. You're standing at a door where you can see safety, but you stay on the airplane and you direct people to get off. You give them a sense of calm and direction. And every one of those passengers within themselves is a hero in this because they did not obstruct. They did not try to get luggage out from what we hear. They just got off the airplane while it was filling up with smoke. So just amazing stuff. But, you know, as to how this happened, you know, I just came through LaGuardia before the holidays, the dark of night. You don't see too much out there. You're depending on a system that has people that are rested, air traffic controllers. We know in New York, there's been a lot of stories about that. Heck, the FAA is even studying.
We were going to ask you. That was our next question for you. We've seen a lot of this in the U.S., Mike. I mean, a lot of these things happening.
Well, I mean, Captain, we've had a lot of discussions about this could have been catastrophic here with the close calls, the planes being clipped in this country. What are investigators going to be looking at to figure out why these two planes there in Tokyo came into contact the way they did? Because clearly something went wrong and somebody did something wrong.
Yeah, and it's usually several things, and you don't have to be a pilot to understand it. When two airplanes are on the runway, you've got a problem, and we've had a series of those in the U.S. This is why the alarm bells are ringing here, and what we've been saying for well over a year, that this system is being pushed too hard, the people are being pushed too hard, there's not enough of them, and the technology needed to help prevent these things when errors do happen is being grossly invested in this country, and it's up to Congress to take some moves. Now, this is happening in a country that is outside the U.S. I don't know the technology behind the runway incursion preventative measures there in Haneda, and nor their air traffic controllers and all. But all of these things are going to be investigated.
Absolutely.
And if this is not a clear affirmation of what pilots and air traffic controllers have been saying here in the U.S., you're waiting for tragedy to happen. We cannot wait. We must take action.
Captain Tajer, I know a lot of passengers are going to be nervous now about flying because those images are really startling. What do we know about this plane, and why did it burst into flames like that? I would assume that with technology and the way these aircraft are built, that there would be some sort of fire suppression. So could you guide us on that a little bit?
Well, certainly, and that's a great point. Modern aircraft, so what happened? Well, we had two aircraft colliding. And so no matter how much protective measures you put on the aircraft, if it's hitting fuel tanks, engines are coming undone, something is going to likely ignite. However, just like you brought up, there are composite materials on this aircraft, and there are experts right now looking at it and thinking, wow, this thing didn't burn up as quick as it might have. So will this contribute to the fact that many people got off the airplane? Well, we're going to find out more about it. But if you look at that evacuation, something that came to eye, and other experts have noted this as well, it seemed as though the left engine, I think it was, but one of the engines may have still been running. So we don't know if there was damage up onto the flight deck, because obviously they hit another aircraft.
Right.
I don't know what was going on the flight
Or
deck.
when, yeah.
Yeah, and if systems to shut down an engine were disabled because of the impact, we just don't know. But there are going to be a lot of questions asked and a lot of answers given, because this is all the people involved in general on that larger aircraft are healthy, safe, and the data recorders will all be there. So the mystery, well, may take a little time. I don't believe there'll be many mysteries in this after it's all said and done.
Before I even, I do just want to take up this composite material you mentioned, because, we were used to seeing planes being welded in the old days, right? That wrapped in the hard metal and put up. And now, to make them faster and lighter and more fuel efficient, they are composite materials, and they're supposed to have kind of like an onboard fire suppression system as well. You mentioned, and we saw in the video, that it does look like there was fire being sprayed, almost fuel being sprayed down the outside of the plane when it made that impact. So what will we learn? Will we learn about composite materials? Will we come out of this understanding something to make us feel better about flying them all over the world as we do now? This is one of the newest of the Airbus fleet, as I understand it.
I agree, and Sam, you hit it right on it. I believe we will learn more. I think what we're going to learn is what the engineers already knew and designed into the aircraft, but now we're seeing through some pretty horrific pictures what that means. So, in time it'll come, but I think that all the indications are that we're going to have some level of additional comfort in this investigation on the engineering, the materials behind it. We'll see here very soon. But man, oh man, when I heard the news of this, I thought, oh gosh, here it comes, because we've been talking about this. And I was just, it's a tough word to use when there's people who have lost their lives on that other airplane, but I was just at my core elated to hear that all those people got off.
Yeah.
And I immediately went to those flight attendants and thought of, my gosh, what heroes.
What a good job.
Absolute heroes.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And a wake-up
Captain,
call
thank you.
about the industry and what more might need to be done to ensure safety. Thank you so much, Captain Dennis Tajer, for joining us and giving us some insights into what might have happened.
Thank you, Captain.